Arr, what is up, DIY Nation? It is your Captain Darren doing a terrible pirate impression. Today on the channel, DIY 1978 guy is going to load me a new tune on me rig. I can't keep that up. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes, right? But that's what we're going to do today. Today on the channel, we are loading a new tune on the 2021 F150 XLT 5.0 liter. That's my truck, the one you've seen in the previous videos, mainly for the daytime running lamp issue, but we won't get into that today. We are actually going to do something that is uplifting, something that's going to make me happier, something that is going to make me not think about the damn daytime running lamp even more. Gosh, that's so annoying. But anyway, today we're going to tune the truck. I did have a tune on it before. I did have to take it off when I had the transmission rebuilt because they were going to do PCM updates as well. That was going to erase the tune anyway. That's the modern day reality. Used to be back in the day, you could tune your computer and you didn't have to worry about over-the-air updates or anything coming through from your manufacturer that would erase your tune. Today, that's a reality. So that's another feature that I have turned off in the truck is over-the-air updates. I don't want anything destroying my tune if I have it on there, but this one I manually took it off and I had to have the tune file rebuilt with the new strategy and everything like that. So today we get to put the new tune, which has a couple of updates from the previous version of it that my tuner did. And while I'm talking about tuners, I want to go ahead and throw a plug to my boy Cody at StangHi Performance. Used to be here in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but he just moved his operations out to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Been in business many years. I've known the guy since the mid-90s. We were on the car scene together. I'm going to link all his information, business and everything, down in the description, so you guys go ahead and check him out. Now, in addition, and I'm real happy about this, while this is not a paid promotion, he's not paying me to do this, but what I did ask him, and he cordially accepted, anybody who uses my channel name, DIY 1978 Guy, when you call him, will get a 10% discount on the tuning package products that he offers. And I'm going to read this from my phone to make sure I don't get it right. So what that includes is either the SCT, which is the one I have, or the RTD flash device, and any of his custom tunes that go on the vehicle. Of course, prices will vary depending on what vehicle, year, model, the type of calibrations and stuff like that, but they are dyno proven calibrations that he develops in-house, custom, for maximum performance and drivability. I can attest to it. I have been using Cody for years on several of my trucks for tunes, and let me tell you, the one he did for my EcoBoost truck a long time ago, man, that sucker was fast. The tune that he did for my previous 2019, again, awesome. And the one that I've had so far that I had on this 2021 woke it up, and man, I'll tell you, one of the biggest things I wanted the tune for was to fix the transmission nuances, the way it shifts and everything like that. Night and day difference. Absolutely talented, amazing dude. Check him out, StangHi Performance. Get 10% off if you mention my channel name, and I hope you guys go and get some products from him. And he's an all-around stand-up dude too. He's not going to sit there and do all the sales pitch stuff to you. But today, and I'll also link some dyno sheets. He actually posted this on his StangHi Performance page on Facebook. You can find him on Facebook as well. This exact tune that I'm putting on my truck, he did on a dyno, on a truck, a 21 F150 in the shop, and the dyno sheets are out there. I'll link all that in the description when I put this video up. So go check him out, StangHi Performance. But today, we're going to put it on my vehicle. So what we're going to do first, and I'm going to walk you through this. Of course, like I said, I have the SCT X4 tuner for my truck, and I'm going to run you through the process of making sure before you do any tunes or anything like that, you want to make sure that the device is updated with the latest firmwares and software updates from SCT, and it's very easy to do if you have a Windows-based computer. It's USB connected, uses a micro USB in the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that. You just plug it in, and then when you install the software on your computer, and I'll bring you in here and show you once I get it up. You're going to download the software from SCT's page, which will forward you to the SCT device updater page. Let me bring you in here so you can see this. The device updater page, which is this derivepower.freshdesk.com. Apparently they use it for both. This page is used for both SCT and Bully Dog. But you're going to go in here, find the device updater software, download and install, and it'll install the drivers as well for the SCT X4. Once you have it installed, you go ahead and launch the updater software. In the meantime, I'll also show you another thing that we're going to do as well. Go into device manager on your computer. When you plug your device in to the USB port, you should see it pop up in the device manager list. Let's see, there it is, SCT driver version 10.11. If that does not show up when you plug your device in, then either the drivers didn't install or the USB cable you're using is not good. The first USB cable I used was no good, and it didn't actually show up. So I swapped cables, and there we go. So make sure in Device Manager that you see SCT driver in there when you plug your device in. And that will actually power up your device. Let me go ahead and shut that off. I don't need that anymore. That will power up your device. So now we're going to launch the Derive Systems Updater, and it's very, very simple. You're going to go here. You do obviously have to have an internet connection for this, but then again, you need an internet connection to download the software too. So you're going to click on Check for Updates. It's going to gather the device information, and there we go. Mine is currently up to date. I already ran the updates on it because I wanted to make sure this process worked before I actually did it. But this is how you would do it. If there was a version disparity between your version and the current version of the updates, it'll tell you your device needs to be updated. And it's very simple. You click Update Devices, and you'll see the scroll bars go across as it downloads and installs 45 to 50 files. It doesn't take very long. It took about 5 minutes on mine. But you want to make sure that that is done prior to loading any tunes or anything like that. Now, one thing I have not done yet is that we're going to transfer a file to this device. Let me cancel out of this. I have to actually put the new tune file on my device. Let's see how we're going to do this. Transfer file to device. So make sure we're connected. We're browsing. Should be in this. Glad I changed the list order on this. SCT, StangHi Performance, and why is my Dropbox not? Oh. There's always something. It is always something. If I wasn't videoing this, this would actually be, oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, because the file name is a CEF file. Let me go back and try load custom tune file. Maybe that's what we're trying to do. I have not used this software prior to just doing the update, so let's see. Okay, so we want to remove this one, and we want to remove that one, because those are the old ones. We're going to browse for, again, there it is. Okay. Nope. Okay, select custom tune file. And that should be the one. Let me just double check this real quick, just to make sure that that is in fact what it's supposed to be and that wasn't one I just pulled off of it. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Did verify that I was doing it correctly. I just wanted to make sure because I didn't want to lead you guys in the wrong direction. So basically what happens is when you locate that CEF file that your tuner sends you, hopefully it's Cody at StangHi Performance again, when you browse and load that, it's going to give you the available tune. You highlight the available tune or tunes if you have various ones on there, put add to device, and then click program. And then it's going to go through and it'll program your device. And then just as a check, what we'll do after this is done is we'll close everything out, disconnect the device, reconnect it, start the software back up. There it goes. Start the software back up and verify that we do see this SHP 93 octane tune. So now this one, as it states, is a 93 octane tune. So you do have to run 93 octane fuel in there. It's recommended that if you're doing this for the first time and you've run previous fuels that were not 93 octane, say 89 or 87 in your vehicle, before you put this tune on there, run 1 or 2 tanks of 93 octane fuel through on your stock tune before loading this tune on there. That way you know that you don't have any disparity in the octane rating of the fuel in your tank. So we're going to go ahead and close this down, disconnect the device. Wait a second, and then we'll plug it back in. And we'll restart this device updater software, which takes a second because my antivirus program has to scan everything. Come on. There we go. All right, back to load custom tune. Gathering device information, and there it is. The single tune, as you remember when we saw this a few earlier when I first started this, there was actually 2 of them on there that we removed. So everything looks like it's working great. Just as a recap, make sure you automatically check for updates and update your device, and then go ahead, clear your tunes. If you already have tunes on the device and you're putting new tunes on, clear them out, close the software down, disconnect, reconnect, make sure there's nothing in there, then add your new tune from the file, pop it in there, program the device, and then do it again. Close everything down, disconnect it, plug it back in, and then make sure your tune is there. So we are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and get everything set up outside the vehicle because we actually do this under the hood of the vehicle. Unlike, you know, previous generations of vehicles where you can plug into the OBD2 port and tune your vehicle that way. On the at least the 2021 and up trucks for F150s, we actually have to do this at the computer. So I'm going to show you the process of that whole thing. We're going to run through it. So give me a minute. I'll be right back, and I'll show you how this goes. Okay, welcome back. Now we are on the outside in a view that if you've watched my other videos, you're very, very familiar with. This is the front of my truck with the most important part that I need to talk about. Once again, I'm not going to go through this whole thing again, but the battery charger. Same thing that we did when we were running through the daytime running lamp 4-scan changes. Out of precaution, I put the battery charger on here just to keep a constant flow of charge going into the battery. These Motorcraft H6 batteries that come in these things are garbage. They can fail at any time. This is the 3rd one I've had in this truck in 45,000 miles. So just for the sake of safety, precaution, everything like that, I would hate to be in the middle of programming the engine computer and the charge goes down and it bricks my engine module. Boy, would that be a big pain. Talk about a problem you do not want to have. So it's recommended that you do this. Plug your charger in, connected it to the battery the way you're supposed to. Positive goes on the positive pole, negative goes on the pole that's on the battery monitoring sensor, just to make sure you keep a good charge coming in. So now we got that out of the way, let's move that. Let's take a look and see what's inside the box. Of course, you already saw the SCT X4, very small, compact device. You can do a number of different things besides loading tunes. You can do data logging and all kind of stuff if you have the software to do it. USB cord that we used. We don't want that falling down in the engine well. This module is what you would actually normally like I said, you would plug these into the OBD2 port inside the truck, but on these, we have to actually program these at the computer. So what this cable does is actually plugs into the right socket on the computer to provide the OBD2 interface that the tuner will then connect to actually put the tune on the computer. Essentially, what you have to do is you have to isolate the computer from everything, basically disconnect it from the truck, all the circuitry in the truck, and manually connect to it with this adapter that will power the computer and also unlock it so that you can put the tune file on there. Anybody that's dealt with these tuners before, of course, you know what this cable is. It is not an HDMI cable, though it uses the same interface. This is your OBD2 cable that you would normally use. This plugs, plugs into the tuner. This is going to plug into that OBD2 port that is on the plug. And then, of course, because we're isolating the computer, we need to be able to power it up. Here's your alligator ears with fuse holder and barrel connector plug that actually plugs into the side of this SCT interface right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this stuff connected and I'll show you what we're gonna do. Now, the computer in this is located right back here. Okay, these three big massive plugs right here are the computer. And it's been a minute since I've done this. I'm almost positive, we'll see when we go to plug it in, but this is the plug that we're actually going to replace with the SCT module. So this is the one we'll actually plug in, and then of course we'll hook up the alligator clips to the battery, same thing, and power the device up, and we'll run through the actual tuning portion of this, and I'll show you how that's done. So let me get this all plugged in and set up, and then I'll bring you back and I'll walk you through the process. It's super simple, only takes a few minutes to do, and then we should be ready to rock and roll, and there's a few more steps afterwards. So don't y'all go nowhere. I'll be right back. You know, how good of a DIY guy would I be if I didn't show you actually how to unplug these things? So here we are back at the computer. To get these plugs out, it's actually not too terrible of a process, right? You got these big arms that are basically, these arms are what actually pushes and pulls the plug in and out, and of course they lock in place with a little tab. So I'm going to attempt to do this with one hand. Maybe I'll see if I can't. There we go. Let's see if I can get that to stay there. You push the tab in, which will release the arm, and then you slowly slide these things out. Be very careful when you pull these plugs out, because you don't want to bend any of the pins that you got inside that plug. If you bend any, you can see them in there. They are very tiny, and if you bend one of those, again, you can cause yourself a lot bigger problems. So we're going to push this tab in right here, slowly slide that one out, and unlock it, and fold these guys down and out of the way. And then there's this one over here. Let's see if I can tilt this camera that way. Yeah, there's all that creaking again. There's a tab on the back side of this, which we're going to push, and you slowly release and slide the plug out. So there you go. That's actually how you get those pins out of there. Now, if you're short like me, unfortunately I'm not at that short that I don't need a ladder, but if you're really short and Italian like I am, it might be good to get a little step ladder to do this. So again, this is the interface from the SCT connector there. We're going to pop it in, slowly slide it in until it locks in place. And voila, that's all there is for that. Now, as I stated, we've got to power this guy up. So again, I'm doing this with one hand, so bear with me. We're going to pop this guy in here, lay that off to the side, and of course red goes to positive. We'll just put it right around the charger here, good and snug, and then black of course goes to negative, and that's it. So now this interface is powered up. We're going to get the cable for the tuner. I'm going to have to put you guys back on the stand here to show you this. Give me 1 second here. All right, so we've got the HDMI looking cable which plugs into the top of the SCT tuner like that. And then of course our OBD2 port, which is going to connect. So go ahead and plug that in. And then we'll see the tuner actually light up. Now there's a number of different things on the menu here you can look at. Let me see if I can get this without a glare. We're going to go to Program Vehicle. It's going to give you, you know, all the legal jargon, street use only, you know. This device is not legal for sale or use in California or any pollution-controlled motor vehicles. If you live in California, right. Okay, anyway, continue. Processing data. This is like, you'll hear the module click when it does that. That click is it actually powering up and interfacing with the computer. You'll hear a few more clicks as it does what it does. On, off. There's a little light on the bottom here that's almost kind of like a status light, and there it is. So engine preloaded tunes, 5.0 liter F150. There's just the one tune. That's the tune that we're putting on. So you select the tune, hit OK. Disable preloaded tune. The custom tune will disable your SCT preloaded tunes, blah blah blah, blah bitty blah 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 blah. That's correct. This, and what that's basically saying is these devices come with preloaded tunes on them. You know, they're basic tunes that you can change a few different things, make it a little better than what it is factory. But what it's saying is the custom tune will actually disable those preloaded ones that come from SCT. So we're going to hit the right button, hit continue, program vehicle, options none, continue, and there it goes. It's going to unlock the processor. And first it's going to go through and save the stock data, which is basically saving your stock tune, right? So that if and when you got to go back to the stock tune, you can put it back on there. It keeps a copy of that on the device. And then once it's actually done saving all the stock data, which is probably like a bunch of, you know, several gigs a day. Not really. I don't know how big the tunes are. All I know is there's a lot of tables in these tunes now. My buddy was showing me the tables he had to modify just for transmission shifting, which is the biggest change that I made between the last one and this one. Holy cow. I mean, I've seen tune files before in the past. Wow, is all I got to say. You almost got to be like a master's degree developer to understand these tune tables and how to do all this stuff. Kudos to him. I'm in technology and I don't know how to do that. But anyway, I digress. There's another phrase I always use a lot. But it's going to save your stock data, and then, which takes a minute for it to pull it all down, and then once it's done, I think it'll prompt you for me to go ahead and do it. And if this takes too long, obviously I'll pause and come back when it's ready. But I think it's going to prompt me again. Do I want to continue? You would put continue, and then it'll load the new tune on your computer. So right now we're at 17%. So does not look like it's climbing very quick. So I'll give you a quick dad joke that I made up, and then we'll pause and come back when it's ready. So quick dad joke I made up. Why don't people starve at the beach during Halloween? Cue the Jeopardy music. Because of all the sandwiches. I know it's terrible. It's terrible. But it's good. Tell your kids that one. I bet you they laugh. Anyway, I'll be right back when this thing gets to the next stage. Alright, we're back. So we are at 98% of saving the stock data. Excuse me. A little scratchy throat going on today. So there it is. It's 100% done. Now it's preparing the data that it's going to load onto the computer, which is a little bit bigger, faster of a process. And once it's done with this, let's see, finalizing the tune, because it actually takes some of the parameters it learns, obviously, and finishes out the tune file that it's on there. Finalizing tune. This may take some time. Please wait. How many of y'all, by a show of hands, told your kids that dad joke? They laughed, didn't they? Or they said, I don't get it, Dad. I know that my daughter tells people that one all the time, and they laugh. So, all right, if this takes too long, I'm going to fast forward through this part. Again, cue the Jeopardy music. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. I'll be right back when this is done. Okay, we're on to processing data. First it was saving data, now we're processing data. When I mentioned that this only takes a few minutes, what I meant was it's about 14 hours, 27 minutes, and 13 seconds. So, hence the reason you need the battery charger. I'm just kidding. I mean, all told, it's 20, 30 minutes or so, depending on the size of your tune file, how much it's got to actually rewrite. So, it's like watching paint dry. Maybe y'all ever done that? Watch paint dry? I have. It's quite boring. This is interesting. Oh, I'm hearing clicks. Unlocking the processor. We're getting closer. Clearly, it writes the tune file quite a bit faster than it saves the stock tune. So there we go, writing the tune to the vehicle. Do not remove power or disconnect the device. Take that one to heart. Do not go busting anything off, powering anything down, none of that. You will brick your PCM, and as I stated earlier, you'll be in a big predicament. Predicament? Predicament. Right? That's the word? Conundrum. No. You will not be in a good place. Let's just put it that way. Man, like the first 70% of this thing went zoom, zoom. Second, 20 to 30% is, this must be where the meat and potatoes part. The first 70% is like the appetizer, your first cocktail with dinner. The last 30% is the main course. That's the part you want to savor and enjoy. So it is savoring the flavor and enjoying the cuisine and how the different tastes of all the zeros and ones in the file hit the palate. So then the last like 3% is dessert. Boy, I went from like 87 to 94. That was quick. Must have been a big bite. Okay. Here, 95%, we're soaking up the rest of the gravy in the plate, the au jus. And now we're at dessert, which probably is just a cookie. There it goes. Programming complete. Download complete tune has been programmed successfully to the vehicle. You hit done. Now, before we start the vehicle, okay, all this is done, the tune is on there. We're going to disconnect everything, plug the computer back in, and then there's a sequence we're going to do inside the vehicle real quick before we actually start it up. So I'm going to go do the reverse of what I showed you earlier and unhook all this stuff, put the computer back in place, and then I'll bring you inside and show you what we're going to do. So, be right back. All right, we're back. Computer is all hooked up and everything's back in place. Now I do have to remind that just the amount of precaution you use when you're taking those plugs off. you want to use an equal or a greater amount of precaution when you're sliding those plugs back in. Now, there are tabs on top that the plugs will line up on so that they will go in straight, but you want to make sure that you're not putting any kind of unnecessary torque on them when you're popping the plugs back in again, to maintain the integrity of the pins inside the plugs. And then once you get that plug in far enough, you can just slide the little retaining strap into place, the locking strap into place, and it'll suck the plug right back in and lock it into place. So now we're back in the vehicle, and before we start it up, the procedure that we have to do is we're going to cycle on the ignition, and then we're going to go wide open throttle twice. And I think I heard it. We're supposed to hear the throttle flap open and close. And then we'll cycle the ignition off. And then just to be safe, I'm going to do it one more time. I heard a noise under the hood. Cycle it off. And now we get to start it up. There we go. Roll the window up and turn the AC on. So, as I stated in this tune, basically what I changed in this tune, the original tune, just the sport mode, aside from the engine configurations, which I'll get into in a second, but from the transmission shifting standpoint, sport mode was beefed up big time. Sport mode, while it's still better than the normal mode in the stock configuration, still leaves a bit to be desired. It's not, it wakes it up, but it doesn't wake it up like this tune does. This sport mode for this tune, I mean, this thing, if you turn the traction control off, at least with the tires that I got, you come from wide open throttle standstill and it'll bark the tires in second and third gear. Now, some people like that, some people don't. It's not very effective on wet pavement, but you know, I'm looking at myself in this little bitty viewfinder on the camera here, and it looks like I got a big chew in the side of my lip here. Either that or I got stung by a wasp and my face is folding out. Anyway, hope it looks better in the actual final cut. Total brain fart again. But anyway, another thing that I had changed in this tune was that skip shift. I cannot stand the skip shift, and what that means is when it, you know, you're taking off normal and it goes from 1 to 3 and then skips to like 5 or 6 and then skips to 8 and then to 10, right? I wanted to use all the gears all the time, and so skip shift is turned off. Like I said, the shift pressures are a lot better. The RPMs where it shifts for a given throttle position was very much improved. Let me see if I can hang this thing up so I don't have to hold it. This thing is just a creaking son of a gun. I gotta get a different camera mount. But anyway, like I said, the RPMs at which it shifts for a given throttle input, totally reworked. I mean, just night and day difference. So that was in the original tune that he gave me. What I changed in this one was we modified some of those shift points to be even a little bit more aggressive in some places. There was one problem I had, that with the traction control on, even when I wasn't getting on it very hard, probably because of the nature of the tires, it would hit second gear so hard sometimes the traction control would kick in real quick. We modified a bunch of tables for that to help with that problem too, but still I need to remember just to turn the traction control off. I'm really going to beat on it. But the one major change that we made to this tune file is I took the exact, or I say he took the exact same tune parameters for the transmission in sport mode and copied that over to normal mode, right? With the exception of, we backed the shift pressures down just a little bit for that reason. So, because the sport mode, just driving around town, because I drive around sport mode all the time, like I can't stand any of the other modes, but it was a little aggressive sometimes just on light throttle application. So I had them reduce the shift pressures just a little bit with that same exact shift strategy and put that in normal mode. So that's what we're going to go and test. Now, I got to put about 100 miles on it in normal mode because this is an adaptive learning transmission and computer. It's got to go through all of its adaptive learning, see how you drive and everything like that. So before I can really get down on it or go into sport mode, I'm going to run it in normal mode for a while, for about 100 miles, and then we'll see how it goes. Power wise now, I forget what the number is. Something, it's like 25 or 30 horsepower at the crank, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on it. I have to look at the dyno numbers and see. I think that's what it was, but it's a noticeable pickup in power and torque, especially in the upper part of the range. I mean, this thing, when you bear down on it and it finally gets traction, I mean, it'll wrap out 6,500 RPM and it'll get there quick, and it'll just bang through the gears and blaze some trails, man. I'm telling you, this thing, it really wakes it up. Cody does a great job when it comes to tuning. So, and many of the other things he does. I mean, all around, everything he does over there, big projects, small projects, fantastic. So, once again, looking down in the description, you'll find all the information for Cody and StangHi Performance out there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 10% off if you use my channel name, DIY1978 guy, and go get some tuning stuff from them. Try them out and see. You know, especially if you're not happy with the person who was tuning your vehicle, give Cody a shot, man. Dude is straight up, let me tell you. So unfortunately, I can't do any of the wide open throttles and grinds and everything like that in this video because I have to go, like I said, drive it and let it learn for a few minutes. It did start, so that's a good thing. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one right here, and then I'll probably do a follow-up video where we do some driving and show just exactly what this thing can do. So once again, thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the comments, not just on YouTube, but I get comments on Facebook. I get people randomly texting me, messaging me on Messenger, all kinds of suggestions and everything. The feedback has been fantastic. I mean, you know, this is making a dream come true for me. So I love it. I love you guys. God bless everybody out there. And remember, don't be afraid to DIY, okay? Just do your research before you do, like watching videos like mine. Anyway, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video. DIY 1978 guy. Peace.